Today I'm going to show you how to make an electrode holder that works really well using a broken clamp. I have this really old clamp that doesn't work for me anymore because it doesn't hold the electrode properly. When I put it on, it's loose. And honestly, I'm tired of struggling with this clamp. So I thought of making a homemade one. And while I'm at it, I'm going to show you how I make it. To make this homemade electrode holder clamp, I'm going to use a 5/8 threaded rod with a 15 centimeter piece. I'm already tired. I'm also going to use 3 nuts for this threaded rod. The first thing you need to do is place the 3 nuts close together, right next to each other. This is so you can weld them together and make a sort of longer nut. To weld, I'm going to use a 2.5 electrode at an amperage of about 90 to 95 amps. The first thing I'm going to do is tack weld between each nut. Once both tack welds are done, you need to check that the threaded rod turns smoothly inside the nut. Once you've checked that it turns well, you need to turn the nut and tack weld it on the other side. Once you finish tack welding, you need to finish welding it completely. You shouldn't use too much welding so the nut doesn't get deformed. Once it's welded, it should look something like this. What you need to do is use a grinder or bench grinder with a polishing disc to sand it down well, so it looks as neat as possible. And this is how it looks once it's polished and nice and neat. Now what I have to do is make a hole that goes all the way through, 3 millimeters wide. This could also be about 4 millimeters or so. The hole has to go through both sides, more or less evenly. And this is how the hole looks. As you can see, it has the hole on both sides. And you also need to make a point on the threaded rod. This is optional. I do this so the threaded rod goes in more easily. You can do it if you want. If not, that's fine too. I do it so it screws in more smoothly. Now what I'm going to do is take apart the old electrode holder clamp. As you can see, this clamp is already quite old. It already served me as much as it could. But now, when I want to buy a new clamp, I realize they're very expensive. And it's almost impossible for me to buy one. So I'm going to make use of this clamp I have since it's already very old and broken to make a new one. There are electrode holder clamps that have a screw on the side. And that's how they come off. Not this one. This one is a snap-on. With just a little force, I can take it apart. Now what we have to do is get the nut into the top part. As you can see, it doesn't fit. So I'm going to sand the sides a little so it fits. Once it's sanded, it should fit without any problems. And as you can see, it fits pretty well and stays quite firm. Now with the other part of the clamp, you have to cut it. Right here where I'm marking it. The good thing about making your own homemade tools is that you save a lot of money because you make it with materials you already have in your workshop or you buy just a few materials. And they also last you a long time. So the other part is already cut. Now you have to measure it against the holder's plastic piece to mark where you need to cut the threaded rod. Between the two joint parts, it has to be shorter than the plastic of the electrode holder pliers. As you can see, I already have it cut, and now what I'm going to do is weld it. Now with the plastic of the electrode holder pliers, more or less here where I'm pointing, you have to cut it to make 2 pieces. And that's how the 2 parts end up cut. This side is where the nut we made goes. It's important for the nut to fit tightly so it stays very firm. Now with the other part, what I'm going to do is remove the old cable. For that, I use an adjustable wrench to take it apart. Now I'm going to use a thin cable, but the idea is to later use a slightly thicker one. Just to show it in the video, I'm going to use this thin one. Now what you have to do is put it inside the other piece of plastic we had. This should also fit in tightly. That's why I use a hammer to help me put it in. And that's how it looks once it's in place. Now I'm going to assemble it. I'm going to screw it together with the other part so you can see how it works. You insert the electrode through the holes and twist it so it stays tight. And as you can see, once it's tight and I move it firmly, the electrode doesn't fall out. By turning the nut the other way, we can remove the electrode and we can also set it at 45 degrees. It's simple. We just have to use one hole and tighten it. And as you can see, it stays at 45 degrees. It's pretty firm and it's very easy to remove the electrode. Now what I'm going to do is test it. I remind you that if you're going to weld, you have to use the proper protection. You always have to use it. Long sleeves, gloves, and face shield. Once you're ready to weld, I'm going to start the test. As you can see, it welded very well and it's very easy to remove the electrode. Now I'm going to insert a new one so you can see how practical it is to use. And that way it stays nice and firm. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this clamp and if you would make it or not. And if you liked this video and this clamp, don't forget to follow me. It would help me a lot. Thank you.